So last time we talked, Autumn Kealoha, the heir of my legacy challenge, celebrated the birthday of her wife, Shanna Kealoha, as she aged up to an adult, and took her son Sage Kealoha to meet his uncle Edward and aunt Hilary Volkov, as well as his cousins Nina and Micah Volkov for the first time. And though Sage had technically met his uncle Ezra when he was a newborn, she was sure he hadn't remembered him. She wanted Sage to know who the most important sim in her life was, besides him and his mother, Uncle Ezra. Ezra, where are you taking the baby? Are you kidnapping this child to get revenge on your sister? Turns out Sage's introduction to Ezra didn't go well and Ezra's upset about it. Sage, don't piss me off. While Ezra and Sage were getting fresh air, Autumn introduced herself to Mason's brothers Burgess and Jeffrey and their scary cat before saying hi to Mason. Sage, stop doing that. Autumn still felt a bit awkward talking to Mason so casually, considering their past and how it affected Ezra. But the two seemed very happy. She was glad she could help make that happen. All while Ezra is still pissed that his nephew doesn't like him. Ezra, how can you be mad at that tiny pathetic thing? He's literally so booty tickled at this infant LMAO. Mason and Sage, however, were getting along swimmingly. Jesus, you really are a needy little mongrel, aren't you? Autumn had so many questions. She wanted to ask her brother and Mason what was going on between the two of them. Were they together? Were they just roommates? Are they woohoo partners? She honestly couldn't tell. But then she saw them doing this in the presence of an infant, influencing him from day one. Love it. At this point, Autumn felt like she was in the middle of something. Perhaps she shouldn't have surprise visited. She really wanted to talk to her brother alone and get all the tea, but she knew for sure something was going on. It was getting late and Sage was getting fussy, so she started to say her goodbyes to Ezra and Mason. Oh. Also, did I say 2 episodes ago that Nicole's birthday is next week? Well, you see, I lied. It's actually today, and there was one problem. She still hadn't found Greg's diary for the cure. She would be staying up all night to look for it. She was dedicated to becoming a vampire today and didn't care what she would have to do to make it happen. She managed to find a figurine, not very helpful. And guess what? Shanna finally learned the potion of curse cleansing, and the curse of getting her ass beat every time she steps into the magic realm was finally lifted. I just know she's so relieved. LMAO. She went ahead and bought the frugal combination power-up with her familiar Daria at her side. Chris got started on a second gig. It was raining, and Nicole was still out in the dark searching for Greg's diary. She didn't have much time left. Shanna learned a new spell, Upgradios, and due to his music's growing popularity, Clint felt motivated to write more songs. And right as the clock struck midnight, not only did Shanna learn the Transportalate spell, but it also officially became Nicole's birthday. Now, she was really panicking. Chris and Clint are playing ping pong. I don't think I've actually seen these two interact after hanging out with his grandfather. Sage got probably his last infant milestones, toe in mouth and blow raspberries. And finally, after what seemed like forever, Nicole finally dug up a copy of Greg's diary. She was exhausted and stressed, sitting down and skimming through the book until she found the most important part, the recipe for the wolf bee gone cure. This was it. She finally had what she needed, and it was time to head over to her fiancé Caleb's house to finish what she started. She told Caleb she was terrified. He was confused and helped calm her down before asking what it was that she was terrified about. She told him what she wanted. She got the moon petal. She knows how to make the cure, but that wasn't all she wanted. She wants to be just like him. She wants him to turn her into a vampire today. Caleb was a bit surprised. She wanted to do a complete 180 and become a blood-sucking demon like him. Why, he asked. Because she wanted to be with him forever. And Nicole was nearly an adult, but had barely lived. She was too introverted. She was too stressed and agitated all the time. She rarely left the house and barely had any friends. And she was under the impression that that would never change. Then she met Caleb. He helped open her mind. He helped Nicole figure out what she really wanted. She wants a life with him. She wants to travel the world with him and party with him and have beautiful babies with him. She wants to know what true happiness feels like. She wants him more than anything else in the world. He asked if she was sure. This was a big decision and it came with consequences. Nicole had thought everything over. She knew she'd never grow old. She knew she'd always have to live in Forgotten Hollow to keep her secret hidden. She knew she'd have to keep her thirst under control and eventually see her brothers and sisters die. But she knew she could handle all of that and take it on as long as Caleb was by her side. She was sure about her decision. She was ready to make the change now. It was time for Nicole to say goodbye to her old life. And that started with crafting the Wolf Bee Gone cure and drinking the very last sip of it, with the lingering thought of her father Chris's disapproval in the back of her mind. And just like that, Nicole was a human sim. She couldn't believe it actually worked. She wasn't a werewolf anymore. She already felt so much happier, so much more relaxed. With a huge smile across her face, she could sing, she could dance, she could cry. She was free at last from the curse. She was the happiest sim alive. She was more than ready for the next step. After dancing and kissing Caleb in the pouring rain, he took her back inside, changed into his dark form, and changed Nicole into a vampire. Ouch. I normally wouldn't agree with doing this all for a man, but it's Caleb Vitor, so I get it. This was the best birthday Nicole ever had. She was no longer a wolf, was going to be a vampire soon, and was going to live forever with her one true love. And since this would also be her last birthday ever, she wanted to go all out and make this day truly memorable. She told her fiancé Caleb that she wanted to elope with him today, right now, before she becomes a vampire. If they wait until after she transitions, they would have to wait for another cloudy day or for her to build an immunity to sunlight. She didn't want to wait that long for her life to completely change. She needed to become Nicole Vitor today. Caleb didn't have to hear Nicole say it twice. He waited long enough to find her. He would do anything, she said, now just to have her all to himself. So they headed over to Windenburg's Von Hont estate to finally begin their eternal lives with one another.